this early season MVP, and everyone came at you because
They
of course
did.
you included Marcus Foligno,
They're
but Cam
haters.
Talbot and Nico Sturm also included. Who is your early season MVP for the Minnesota Wild?
I'm not even going with Marcus. Like, people are just like,
But you can't take Nico because Nico is mine.
I'm not taking Nico. So
you're taking
wow, we never fight during Up for Debate. We're gonna fight this week. Normally we're just like, I'll pick this one so we don't argue. No, this week it's all hate. No, I'm not even picking Marcus. Like, everyone knows I love Marcus, obviously, but I'm going with Cam Talbot. And I even had a tough time like picking 3 people to put for this because I feel like so many different guys have stood out in different ways and contributed in different ways that are either a little bit surprising based on like previous seasons play or just ended up being really useful to some of the Wild's wins. So narrowing it down to 3 was tough enough for me. But I'm going to go with Cam Talbot just because I think heading into the season, a lot of people, and it's still early. I know it's still early, but a lot of people, including Jesse and I, talked about, can Cam play like he did the season before? He's getting a little bit older. He might not get as many starts because he's getting a little bit older. We just weren't sure what to expect out of him. Like most goalies, once they get to that point in their career, it was nothing against Cam. It was just a matter of age and knowing these kind of trends in goaltenders.
Which sounds like it's against Cam. I mean, but yeah, and
not.
I stand by it. I stand by it. It's
no shade at all. We love you. But yeah, so we've had some conversations of, can he maintain that pace of play that he gave us last year, which was so critical to the Wild's success. And very early on in the season, I think he's shown that he can, and he's been a big part of some Wild wins. He's been a big part of some periods where the Wild have struggled, and he's kept them in it and kept their opponents to maybe only a goal. I mean, going back to like the Seattle game where that second period could have easily been a 4 or 5 goal period for Seattle, and he kept it just to 1. So there's been a lot of games that he's played a critical role in. He's looked good. It's not like he's just gotten like these lucky bounces and been in the right spot at the right time. He's made impressive saves. He's been calm and cool and collected, just like last year, which everybody loved about him. And what I love about him as well. And I think that if the Wild have a successful season this year, which they are on pace to do based on the way they've been playing, he's going to be an important part of that. And if the Wild continue to play close games like they're playing, right, where they're playing these 1-goal games, these overtime games, that's going to be hard to continue that kind of pace. But if that's the kind of style that the Minnesota Wild are going to be playing, we are going to need a goaltender who can make big saves at big times and keep their team in it. So Cam Talbot's my early season MVP. Jesse, make your argument for Nico.
I mean, Nico, I picked as my breakout player, and I think he's already lived up to that. And some, I've been a fan of his since last year. I just love the way he plays, and he gets better and better every single game. And he's consistently doing, that entire 4th line has done really, really well. Shout out to Nick Bukestad, who I have kind of tossed some questions at, like, can you do this? Like, he's played his role. I really love it. No. And I think Nico is the kind of guy that you need to help get you through the season, right? You do need those 4th line grinders, and and he knows that, and he accepts that, and he relishes in it, and he can put the puck in the net at the same time too, right? I mean, you certainly want to get your top 2 lines going more consistently, but if they can't, it's really nice that your 4th line's contributing and doing everything that they can. And again, Nico is such a large part of that. And I just see him really becoming a very stout NHLer. So that's probably a little bit of a bias, but I also think he has the grit in him to be a true game changer for the Wild and to really help them. And again, when it comes to playoffs, you need a guy like Nico to push you through, and Marcus too. I mean, I think Foligno is also a very large part of that, but yeah, for namesake, we're just going to leave Foligno out on the side because we give him enough love all the time. I would say my other kind of tip of the hat, and somebody I might have considered, would be Ryan Hartman. I think
thought about putting him in there. I did.
I've been really, really proud. And I said last year, I loved him at center more than I love him at wing. And this year just solidifies that. I think he's done really, really well up the middle. Again, another gritty guy. I just like the gritty guys. Like, let's get in there. Let's go. So yeah, but Nico Sturm, he's my bet. I'm excited to see where this goes.
Well, and I think the other thing too, and the reason I included Nico Sturm was I felt like I had to put a 4th liner in there as an option because the 4th line has played so well. And in some of those games where the Wild struggled or went through stretches of a game where they weren't playing well, the 4th line continuously showed up. So I'm like, I got to either put Nico Sturm in here or Nick Bukestad were kind of the 2 I was going between. And I know, Jesse, you and I always say, like, we low key, like, have like a little mini fan club for Nico. We're always rooting for him to succeed.
We have a lot of fan clubs. If we're honest, like we have plenty.
For
like
all
Matt
different
Dumba
reasons,
for hype over
Hype
there.
man,
Yeah.
yep. Lots of
Like
stuff.
it.
So I had to include Nico because I'm like, I have a feeling I had a feeling that was who you were gonna pick. And plus I couldn't leave off a fourth liner with the way they've played so far. And like you said, Jesse, a good team can roll any line and expect success out of them. And I think we've seen that so far with the Wild. And hopefully the fourth line continues to play like that, because when things aren't going your way in a game, you got to rely on that fourth line to just get out there and do all the work that no one else wants to do, so that the top lines can get some goals, and they've done that so far.